What's up everybody, it's Jang here from JangBricks.com with a look at a Lego movie set known as Emmet's Construct-O-Mech. This set comes with 708 pieces. Ooh, look, a box. But there are already high quality photos of that all over the net. And then there's the back of the box. It's on the back of the box. When you see the real thing, I'm not going to be showing you this code. I'm just going to replace it with a plain tile. Behold the slowly rotating Construct-O-Mech. This thing really had too short of a lifespan in the movie for something so epic as this. You know, especially for kids that are fans of construction stuff, putting them all together into a huge robot, a fighting robot. Come on, it's such a cool concept, and just should have been around for longer. Fortunately, they did give us the toy, and I really appreciate that. I've got to just come out and say this. I know that anybody from Lego watching this is not going to be happy because I'm going to talk about a competitor's theme, but Transformers Construction Devastator, anybody? In Lego? Basically, except it's kind of on the good guy side, right? That's the way that I see this, and that's what I expected to be able to do. It certainly acted like a Devastator in the movie. It was pretty awesome and pretty powerful. It has a very nice little cockpit cab area right here. This all rotates up to allow you to easily place Emmet right in there. He'll be standing up, and you're even able to get the little control levers in his hands. That's very nice. This comes right down over the front. Works out pretty well. Got some light bar up on the top, lights here, lights all in the front. Bend this down. You can just kind of change the angle of this. You can bring up just this part alone or the whole thing together. That's pretty nicely done. And these really do look like the sides of pieces of heavy equipment with the cooling kind of ducts or vents. This looks like these are actually just grill pieces, but they kind of look like bits of track, you know, from an excavator or something like that. So a really nice core. It's interesting, this is all built studs basically on the side. It's really built the whole thing like this, the whole core. So you see that studs are now on the top, and you place things on top, on top, on top, and then at the end you just basically stand the whole thing up. So it's a interesting way that they put it together. It makes for a very effective way to get nice smooth surfaces on the front and to get those tiles there. And they kind of got these shoulder pads up here also, which just add to the strength of how it looks, the strength of its appearance. You can kind of bend these down a little bit if you want to make that just seem a little bit more bulky from the front, or you can open them up a little bit. Just, you know, nice little added on things, a little bit empty inside of here. We'll get to the arms and attachments and things in a minute, but I want to just get through the core first. For the hips, unfortunately, no waist articulation here, so no spinning at the waist. And then coming down to the legs, you've got a little bit of articulation right here at the upper hip. This entire assembly here can move forward and backward. And down on the feet, or 4 feet, you have these tracked bits, which will actually run. That's good. There's enough weight on these things. You don't have to push down on them. So these are able to track around pretty effectively. And they did put these nice little heels on here. It's a technique that I used in my attempt at the drone replica from the original Hero Factory movie. This is a very heavy thing for how small its feet are, if you will. So having these little extensions back here is really important to keep it from tipping over if you get too much weight kind of biased towards the rear. Let's see what we can do for a walking pose with this walker. Well, unfortunately, you can't move the legs forward at all. They're already at full lock forward, so you can only move them back. So you can bring this back and kind of try to see if you can get it to balance like that. You've got no articulation in the feet, no articulation in the knees, unfortunately. So that's kind of rough. That's not going to work. See if I can kind of move the arms to change the balance a little bit better. That's not going to work. Maybe lean the whole thing back. There we go. That actually looks really good. Yes, that is a proper pose. I like that. Okay, but that's pretty much all that you'll get. That is the one perfect walking pose, and beyond that, you can kind of lean it just a slight bit, just basically one notch each way, but that's pretty much all you're going to get for major core body articulation. Now, let's talk arms. On this side, you've got the dual front loader buckets that are kind of pinching together here. You can change the angles on these because they have the ratcheting joints in them, the ratcheting hinges, so you can really open those up like that to make kind of an open hand kind of gesture. Then you can close them down. You can also take the whole thing. It has kind of a wrist, like a long wrist sort of thing, where you can just open up one side here. So that makes it relatively easy to quickly just open it up, scoop up a minifigure, bad guy minifigure inside of there, and then just close it up. See, he's not going to fall out because that's actually charged or held together with a rubber band. You've also got the ability to bring this up like so, and you can articulate here at the elbow as well, in and out like so. Unfortunately, you've got a kind of an elbow style bend towards almost half of the arm is bent out 90 degrees, and you can't turn that. So you can't really bring the arm up towards the front other than to rotate at the shoulder, which is going to bring all of this out, but now you can't reach down. That's the one problem. You're not going to get anywhere near the ground to actually attack something that's on the ground. So you've got all these little dudes. Just imagine having a whole army of these things and you want to pick up a whole scoop full of them, not just one. You have to basically pick up the entire mech, bring it down to the ground and be like, gotcha. On the other side, steamroller arm. This has a little knob on the back so you can spin it, so that kind of gives you sort of a wrist that you can rotate right there. That looks decent, you know, and you can actually, whoa, no falling back. He's actually on the mech is actually on its heels right now. Again, you got to be careful with the weight balance because I had one arm back, but you can actually roll over things with these because they're just able to spin freely. That's pretty cool that you can actually do that. And I don't mind the holes in here because it just accentuates the fact that it's turning. However, again, with the arm, you can kind of do a weird thing of bending out this way. You take the whole arm up, you can bend down halfway at the elbow, if you will, and you can bring it forward or up and back to get more of your kind of walking style pose, or to bring it up to a vertical surface if you want to make it look like you're going to put some wallpaper on a large wall, something like that. That'll work. But when it comes to, again, coming up to an army of little throwaway bad guys and just rolling them all flat, your only option with this thing is, again, pick up the whole mech, bring it down to the ground, and then roll over things with it like that. That works, but I just wish you could just reach. Up top, you've got these two kind of wrecking ball sorts of things, but those are just for looks. You can't do anything with those. I mean, you can swing them around, but there's no articulation here. These aren't coming down. They are intended to stay exactly where they are. I suppose you could try to make it look like you're able to let go of one of these things and drop it, but that's actually attached. There's a piece going all the way through there, an axle going all the way through there. So if you want to separate this and drop it as a weapon, you're going to have to pull it, and it's all just going to come apart. On the back, you have two cement mixer hoppers, so the whole container where you would have the material inside. These are able to be spun around, so that's a good thing that they're kind of free like that. However, they are not completely hollow. The main drum section down here is hollow. The tip is hollow, but there's no space going all the way through, so you can't load that up with material like little 1x1s or little stud pieces to kind of spill the stuff out and pretend that you are, you know, concreting over a bunch of enemies. It's another thing that's just there to look at. Now let's look at the minifigures. So you got Emmet there with a big smiling face. You got a couple of Skeletrons down here at the end, which I think are really cool, light bluish gray skeletons with the special prints for the heads. And the coolest thing here is obviously Angry Kitty in this form. She is exclusive to this set, at least so far. Looks really great in this form. And this also has a dark red stud piece with a hole in it. So that's a new color for that piece. There you go. You can see one of her eyes right through there. Very cool. Always nice to get these in more different colors. I hope that they become easier and easier to find because they are great, super useful pieces. And then let's take a look at these from the back. So there you can see the prints, and this is an Angry Kitty that has the same prints on both sides, so that's cool. And then finally, watch Emmet's face. See, there's an alternate face on the head, and this brings another new expression to the Emmet character. Well, you know, I am sorry, but not ashamed or afraid to say I'm disappointed by this set. I wanted to be able to twist and turn and bend it and stuff and use it like a full-on robot, like what it looks like. I wanted to be able to do things with it that you saw it do briefly in the Lego movie. Compared to what I want it to do, this kind of ends up acting like a static model, which is fine. Generally speaking, I don't have anything against Lego creations that are mostly for looking at. But this is, I think, a set that's really aimed a little bit more towards younger kids, more so than many of the other sets in this theme. And I just don't think that it can be used the way that younger kids want to use it. At least let us take it apart and make little vehicles from it. You know, maybe the combined thing doesn't work all that great, has limited articulation and whatnot, but looks really good and it's really big. But let us have the small little, you know, the small little crane, the small little roller, the small little bucket loader, you know, stuff that would actually work in just normal ways. I will try to make some of that stuff out of this, but it's just not designed to be turned into smaller vehicles from the start. So again, for me, it really ends up being mostly a display model. Looks good on the shelf or on a table, looks really good, but don't expect to get too much play value out of it. Those are my thoughts based on my experiences with this thing. Please feel free to disagree if you have different expectations or had different expectations of this. If you got this set or are considering getting it and it does live up to what you would want out of it based on what you've seen here, feel free to comment up. Let's get the discussion rolling and let's talk about this thing. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Please feel free to hit thumbs down on the video if you didn't like it, or thumbs up if you did. Very much appreciate it either way. Of course, I'm going to build some more stuff and bring you some more videos, so stay tuned for that. I will be talking to you again very soon.